Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dan.
And I'm Jen.
We're going to count down the 50 most commonly used English verbs. This video might be a little longer, so we're going to timestamp each verb so you can skip to the ones you want to watch in the description below.
And at number 50 is to stop.
To stop means to come to an end or the action of bringing something to its end. You'll often see stop signs, which are telling cars to stop. Don't stop watching the video now. Keep watching.
Number 49 is to change. To change means to modify or replace something. So if you change out the battery in your watch, you're taking the battery out and replacing it with another one. So that's an example of replacing. You can also change the artwork by adding a different color. That would be more modifying it.
The next verb is to learn. To learn is to gain an understanding of something or to acquire knowledge about something. Right now, you're learning verbs.
Number 47 is to pay. To pay is a verb that can mean to exchange money or something of value for something, or it can actually mean the consequences of a negative action.
We've created a free PDF on this lesson on the top 50 most used verbs that you don't have to pay for. Just use the link in the description below and we will send it to you completely free. The next verb is to lose. To lose means that you no longer have something or that you've been defeated or to no longer be in possession of something. I often lose my car keys.
Number 45, to provide. To provide is giving something to someone or being prepared for something.
And at number 44 is to write. To write means that you're physically writing something, you're jotting something down, you're communicating through words.
Number 43 is to hold. To hold can mean you actually are holding something, you have your grip on something. For example, the past tense of hold is held, and I held on tightly when I was on the roller coaster. Speaking of tenses of verbs, in that free PDF that Dan mentioned earlier, we are providing you with the simple past, present, and future tenses of every single verb that we mention in this video. So go ahead and download that.
And at number 42 is to believe. To believe means to trust what someone is saying or to hold an opinion yourself. For example, I believe that with lots of hard work and practice, you can become fluent in English.
At number 41 is to like. To like can mean to have positive feelings towards something or someone. It can also mean a choice. For example, if Dan asked me when I wanted to go get coffee, I could say, anytime you'd like.
And at number 40 is to move. To move means to advance to another location, to go from one spot to another. You're moving. For example, you could move to another country. You could move to another company. Move.
Number 39 is to run. To run is a verb that means you're moving your legs really quickly. So instead of walking, you're going faster, you're running. It also can mean to travel. For example, I could say to Dan, I gotta run. That means I've got to get out of here. I got to travel somewhere else.
And at number 38 is to play. To play means to have fun. So often children play together. You could also play a sport. You're partaking in the sport.
Hey, Dan, did you want to play soccer?
I'd love to play soccer.
Number 37 is to hear. To hear means you're using your ears to hear people's voices or sounds around you, or it can mean that you're informed of something. Hey, Dan, did you hear about Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool?
I heard. Terrible news. And at number 36 is to show. To show means that you're presenting something to somebody. So we're showing you some of the most common English verbs right now. The words are showing up on your screen. It also means to communicate. Stay tuned and we're going to show you some more common verbs.
Number 35 is to start. Start means to commence with something. So, for example, the school year starts in September. It can also mean the process of something happening. So, for example, the joke started with a funny line.
And at number 34 is to turn. To turn means to change direction. You're going to turn left or turn right on your way to a destination.
Number 33, to talk. To talk means to speak, to communicate with someone verbally.
Right now, we're talking to you. And at number 32 is to help. To help means that you're aiding somebody, you're assisting them. Right now, we are trying to help you learn some common verbs.
Number 31 is to seem. To seem is what something looks like or appears to be. It seems like it's going to be a nice day today. I hope so.
And at number 30 is to begin. This is a lot like starting. You're commencing. You are beginning. You're starting. Let's move on to the top 30 most popular verbs. We'll begin now.
At number 29 is to let. Let means to allow, to be okay with something. After lots of hard work, he let me lead the presentation.
And at number 28 is to keep. To keep means to remain in possession of something. You're keeping something. We went to the store and bought a bunch of candy, and I wanted to keep it all for myself.
Remember to stay tuned to the end of this video where we will reveal the most common English verb. Number 27, to mean, is to have in mind. Your intention in what you're saying. It's what you mean.
Did you mean what you said?
I did. No, I didn't.
And at number 26 is the verb to put. To put means to place something somewhere intentionally. We're putting certain verbs in certain spots on this list because they're more common than others. It can also be used to talk about being put into a certain state of mind. So you could say, I love this song. It puts me in a good place.
Number 25, to leave. To leave means to actually depart or to leave alone, to let something remain, to leave alone, to not change something or not interact with something.
It was getting late, so we decided to leave. And at number 24 is to become. To become means that you are changing from being one thing into being another.
It can also mean something is flattering on someone when talking about clothing. Dan, that outfit becomes you. At number 23 is to feel. To feel can mean to touch something, or it can mean your emotions, how you are doing emotionally. I feel happy because I get to do this video with Dan.
And at number 22 is to need. To need means to want or to require something. If you're enjoying this video and finding it helpful, we need you to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see our future content.
At number 21, to ask. To ask means to question, or it can mean to request something. I asked the barista for a double espresso.
And we're into the top 20 most commonly used English verbs. And at number 20 is to try. To try means to attempt. If you're trying something, you're giving it your best shot. You are working towards a goal. It can also mean to be tried in court. So it's also a judicial term. You can be tried at a trial in court.
Number 19 is to work. To work can mean to physically exhaust yourself or to mentally exhaust yourself. It can also mean a machine working, a machine operating. We're working hard on our next video for all of you.
In at number 18 is to tell. To tell means to speak, to say something to someone. To tell can also mean to reveal something. So you could say, I could tell she wasn't telling the truth.
At number 17 is to find. It can mean to discover something, or it can also mean that something exists. For example, sugar can be found in pop. Sugar exists in pop.
And at number 16 is to look. To look is to view something, to look at something. Don't look away because we're getting to the top 15 most commonly used English verbs.
Number 15 is to use. To use can mean you're working with something. So I use the blender to make my smoothie. It can mean to consume something. I used up all the ink in my pen.
And at number 14 is to want. To want is to desire something or to hope for something. An example would be, I want to move into a nicer apartment.
Number 13 is to take. It means removing something from a position that it's in, to grasp something, to remove it. It can also mean to do something. So for example, when giving directions, I can say you take a left turn here.
And at number 12 is to think. To think is to believe or to have an opinion of something. So I think that this video is really going to help a lot of people understand verbs better.
And number 11 is to know. To know means to have knowledge, or it can also mean that you've met that person, so you're familiar with them. I would say after practicing a lot, Dan knows how to play the guitar.
We're into the top 10, and at the number 10 spot is to buy. To buy is to exchange money for something. You're purchasing something. It's also to believe something. So you're buying into certain ideas or certain claims. To buy.
Number 9 is to get. To get means that you're obtaining or you're acquiring something. For example, I'd like to get a cat.
And at number 8 is to see. To see means that you can visually perceive something. You can look at it with your eyes. And it also means to understand. So if Jen was saying something, I could say, oh, I see, meaning I understand.
And number 7 is to come. To come means to happen or to move closer. So if Dan was sitting far away from me, I could say, come over here.
And at number 6 is to go. This is kind of the opposite of to come. To go means to travel or to leave.
I'd love to go on a vacation to the south of France. At number 5 is to make. To make means to build something or to put something together. Hey Dan, I'll make you some cupcakes for dessert tonight.
Nice. At number 4 is the verb to say. To say means to speak or to verbalize. I would say that we're getting close to the end of this video. So let's go on to the top 3 verbs.
Number 3 is to do. To do is an action or an achievement that's been made. Do is also used at the beginning of questions a lot. Did you like that movie?
I did. Do you want to see it again?
I do.
In at number 2, the second most commonly used English verb is to have. To have means that you possess or that you hold something. It's a verb that takes a few different meanings, whether it's an auxiliary verb or a main verb. But essentially, to have is to possess or to hold something, to own something. Before we get to the number 1 most commonly used verb, remember that you can download the free PDF on all of these verbs with a few of their most commonly used tense versions. So the simple present, the simple future, and the simple past tense versions of all of these verbs. Download that free PDF using the link in the description below. On to number 1.
Have you guessed it? The number 1 most common verb used in the English language is the verb to be. To be means to exist. It also means to happen.
We actually made an entire video on the verb to be. It's a very complex verb. It's very, very commonly used. We'll leave a link to that in the description box as well. So check that out if you want to learn everything there is to know about the verb to be. Thank you so much for watching to this point in the video, and thank you to everybody who has commented and liked and subscribed. We just passed 3,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. It means a lot.
Thank you.
If you have ideas for other videos you'd like to see us do, leave it in the comments section. Until next time, keep learning.
And we'll talk soon.